Welcome back, YouTube. This is your man Dylan. I'm sorry this has been a long time since I made a video, but I was on a little vacation because I just needed a vacation. So, I'm back, and we're going to continue part 2 of the NFL football season preview. So, in the last video, we discussed the Detroit Lions, who are my projected pick to be the Super Bowl champion for this season. But we're going to move on to the second place team from a year ago in the highly contested NFC North, which would be the Minnesota Vikings, who finished a remarkable 14-3 in the regular season, but then crapped out in the wildcard round. And they were the source of a lot of interesting news and nuggets regarding changes to playoff seeding, which never came to fruition, but stuff like that. So let's go ahead and talk about them. So if we look at Minnesota's fourth year for Kevin O'Connell, no Sam Darnold, they shipped him off to Seattle, so now it is J.J. McCarthy, the second-year NFL player out of Michigan, who never started a game last season, which it's whatever. They still got Justin Jefferson, they still got Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, the underrated tight end, who's kind of been quiet the last couple of seasons, and some solid pieces on defense. Overall, a decently talented roster, not one of the best ones out there. I mean, at least on the NFC side, when you go look at Detroit and Green Bay and who else they got over there, it's not like wow. But they got Aaron Jones, ninth year in the league for Aaron Jones, and then you got Hawkinson, you got Justin Jefferson, who's going to be starting his sixth season, along with Jalen Naylor and Rondale Moore and all those people. But the theme with them is that a year ago they went 14-3, as I said earlier in the regular season, but they were on the road in the wild card round. And they lost by 18 to the Los Angeles Rams on that Monday night wild card game, and that got the conversation going about whether or not they need to adjust the playoff seeding format in order to ensure that those teams that did have a better record are not going on the road in the postseason the entire time. Of course, nothing came to fruition with that. Detroit tried to put together a proposal for that, and nothing happened because I don't think they got enough support among the owners, so that's a different animal for a different time. So for right now, the playoff format is staying the same, but Minnesota was used as the prime example from last season to support this argument. Overall, they have a winning record against Chicago and Detroit in the division. They have a winning record overall at 537, 438, and 11. Of course, they do not have a Super Bowl win yet, so they are still searching for their first Lombardi trophy. But they have a losing record barely to the Green Bay Packers. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at that schedule. So that schedule, whew, my goodness, they've got almost, I wouldn't say a cupcake start, but they've got a decently solid start here. If you can see at the bottom of your screen there, I do have them winning the division at 11-6. Of course, they'll lose in the wildcard round, which I expect them to do anyway. But if we look at their schedule, so the big games, their first game is going to be Monday Night Football at Chicago, in NFC North rivalry renewed for the first time. They'll meet. The second meeting will be in Week 11. Then they have Week 2, also in prime time, hosting the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday Night Football. So back-to-back primetime games. And then they have the unprecedented, never happened before, back-to-back weeks. First week in Dublin against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then the second half of that will be in London against the Cleveland Browns. Of course, both those games were part of their home slate, so it hurts them a little bit because they're only supposed to have 8 home games compared to the 9 road games this season. But I have them starting 4-1, including wins against Cincinnati Bengals, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland before they hit the Week 6 bye week. Then after that, they get a marquee matchup hosting the Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. I have them winning that one, and then I have them kind of sliding a little bit, losing 4 straight against the Chargers on Thursday night on a short week, at Detroit, Baltimore, and then I have them being split with Chicago. I do have them sweeping Green Bay this year. Week 18 game is not going to matter because they'll already be in playoffs, so they'll rest all their starters. But the important one at Lambeau in Week 12, I have them winning that one. And then another notable game, they're at Dallas on Sunday Night Football in Week 15, and then they host Detroit on Christmas Day on Netflix on Thursday at 4:30. Overall, 11-6, that's going to be over their 8.5 win total projection, but I do have them crap them out in the first round. The question mark to me will be the quarterback position. You don't know where you're getting with J.J. McCarthy. Yeah, last season he only played in the preseason, so he'll be making his first NFL regular season start at Chicago on Monday Night Football. What a way to kick off his career. But I do not see this being as good as last season, being 14-3, but I do have him win the division, but losing in the wild card round. Alright, this has been my video on the Minnesota Vikings. So this is your team. Please check out this video. Keep watching the other videos in the second part of the NFL football preview series. But we will move on next to one of the most historic franchises in the NFL and the oldest franchise in the NFL, which will be the Green Bay Packers, the third place team from a season ago. Until then, this is your man Dylan signing off about the Minnesota Vikings, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.